after a bye week and get back to work. And so it's been really good this week so far.
One of the things that is still a major drumbeat for you guys, generating more pressure. How do you feel like particularly on the edge, like how much is that maybe got room to grow still, and how do you feel the interior guys are dealing with penetration?
Well, first of all, I think we made progress. All right, not enough, obviously, for us to win a game last week here, but I think in terms of just getting pressure on the quarterback, I think the first thing we got to be able to do as a defense is be able to dictate those situations. And obviously the last game, our guys are excited to get back on the field after looking at 4 games, and obviously how the last game ended. We didn't stop the run, we didn't stop the pass, we didn't stop their offense at all. So when we don't know exactly what's happening on the field when we're playing on our heels a little bit, obviously that doesn't help us in terms of our ability to get after the quarterback, because obviously, hey, we got to be able to defend everything. When you're in a position to defend everything, you're really not good to defend anything. Right. So I think that's got to be the first thing. Yes, we do got to be able to get a little bit more out of our edge players. I think our interior guys are doing a nice job here, but at the end of the day, we're not generating enough pressure on that quarterback to affect the game like we wanted to affect. I think consistency. I think Coach Rossi's talked about just the consistency and how we do things. Consistency in terms of our daily approach, like all those things matter. Obviously, after 4 games, identifying some things that we go. I am encouraged because I do think we got the guys to be able to get that done. I don't think there's a question mark in our mind. I don't think there's any coming out of a bye week and being able to look at tape. We got the personnel to be able to get that done. It's just a matter of us being able to be consistent in our technique, being consistent in terms of just knowing what we're supposed to do so we can play fast, getting an offense to be one-dimensional to where, hey, we can dictate those obvious passing situations and not worry about, being able to defend the run. I think all those things play in terms of our ability to try to get more pressure on the quarterback.
In terms of, I guess, it seemed like there were a couple third downs where you guys could have closed them out, got them off the field. We talked about that sort of dictating the game. I guess, is the third down situations key to dictating the game, or how do those play into it? Because I know that's sort of the dual problem of
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, when you get an opportunity to get off the field here, we got to be able to win those downs. Big emphasis for us, again, in the offseason, is our ability to be able to get off on third downs, be able to dictate those situations. We had some opportunities, like we've been able to get around the quarterback, but we haven't been able to get him down or get him to throw the ball away. He's been able to scramble. We played some good players last week where he's been able to find an open guy here and there. And so we got to be able to find a way to be able to get that guy on the ground. Last game we had a 3rd and 3, and obviously there was a big opportunity. We fought back down by 7. Like that was a big play to us, in terms of watching that film. We get off the field, get the offense the ball with some momentum. We might have a chance to be able to obviously do something there, but we didn't get that chance to. We had 3 guys around the quarterback. Quarterback made a nice play and obviously got out of the pocket and scrambled for a first down.
Some of that have to do with more success on earlier downs, because obviously 3rd and 8's a lot easier for you guys than 3rd and 3.
Yeah, right now is, like I said, those we got to stay out of those situations right now. Those situations hasn't been good to us. When it's a 50-50 down and distance set here, then obviously you're not necessarily making calls, or your mindset is I still got to be able to worry about the run. So yes, early down success is important to be able to get us to those to those down and distance where we can kind of pin our ears back and go.
It felt like USC was able to run on you guys better than anyone this season. You guys were one of the best run defenses before then. Obviously it's just 1 game out of 4, but what are the differences between that USC game and the first 3 that you saw on film of what you guys were able to accomplish against the run?
Well, I just think, when you play against good football teams take advantage of average effort and obviously average detail, and I think that was a big difference, and it showed that Saturday night. I think Coach Rossi talked about, again, at least with us all the time, talks about just being consistent on defense here at all levels of our defense, from the front to the second level players to the secondary guys. I don't think there was a snap there where we're all on the same page at one time. And then obviously that's on us as coaches, making sure we demand more, right? Make sure that we get those guys to be able to execute the techniques and the defense the way it's supposed to, so we can give ourselves a chance to win football games. So when you're playing against a good football team, they take advantage of your mistakes, and there was enough mistakes there to where, hey, obviously they had a lot of success on offense.
You mentioned about the mistakes. There's been a lot more chunk plays this year than maybe a year ago with the defense. Is that contributing to that? Is it the individual mistakes, or is it something deeper in terms of why there's been a kind of a boost in the opponents getting big runs and big.
Well, I mean, it's just not one thing. I think when you give up those plays, yeah, that has something to do with it. Guys being in the wrong spot and when he's not supposed to be, or he's supposed to be there. Or again, we talked about just consistency in terms of our technique. Guys not being where they're supposed to be. And then you talk about our obviously tackling. Like when you watch those big plays, it attributes to one of those things. And obviously over a 4-game breakdown, we're able to kind of obviously take the bye week to be able to kind of come up with an action plan to be able to, hey, how can we tackle better in space? How can we clean up our details? Is it too much defense? Or what? Coach Rossi does a great job of making sure that defensively we identify what's happening over the 4 games here, and then obviously being able to create an action plan as a defense to be able to make sure we get some of those things solved before we get into this game against Nebraska, which our guys are excited. I mean, obviously when you play a game like you did the last time we took the field, I can't tell you what, it's been a great week of practice. I mean, the bye week, in terms of the attention to detail they've been able to show up with. The last couple of days of practice, these guys have been flying around, the effort they've been playing with, the energy they've showed up, and I'm excited about these guys, and we're encouraged, again, when you watch that tape, again, good football team that we played against, but we didn't help ourselves in that game as well. So I think if we could clean up those mistakes, be consistent on defense in terms of our coaches and the players, and just in terms of our process, I think we'll get a chance to be able to right the ship.
Jonathan on Monday said Derek's kind of a guy that's kind of on the fence in terms of whether he might redshirt or not.
Mm-hmm.
Just wondering what you thought of him so far and what sort of that pathway looks like for him in terms of what might put him on the field or what might not.
Yeah, Derek Simmons done a great job so far, and really all the young guys done a great job so far here. I'm really happy with our interior defensive linemen. I think we're really deep there, and I think we got some guys that that's been playing some good football here. Derek plays in terms of his numbers go up depending on how well how far we need him. I think he's progressing really, really well. I think another guy that's he hasn't taken a lot of snaps, but I think Mike Sean Beeler is a guy that's kind of making those steps as well. But I would tell you that with Alex Van Sumeren, Ben Roberts, Grady Kelly, Rouge trying to get back in the mix of things. Satch was out for a little bit here, but he's been practicing the last couple of weeks. So it's a really deep group. It's a talented group here. So as a young freshman coming up here, obviously there's not enough snaps to play all those guys here. But it's not as a matter of whether he's going to redshirt. If he can help us win a football game, he'll play for us. And at the moment right now, we haven't had to use him as much as we obviously the last game.
Sorry about that. I was gonna say, can that be good for his development when it's not that pressure to all right, you're playing, we need you to play, that he can sort of earn his reps and sort of be in the backseat and watch.
I think it's a great situation because we got some older guys here, we got some experienced guys in the room, we got some really good mature guys in the room. There's some great leaders in that room, and then obviously with the young guys that we got in the room, even Cal. I'm really encouraged with that young group of defensive linemen we got in the program right now. That I think them obviously having the opportunity to be around those guys, and they're playing big time college football. And then I think culturally in the room, it's in a really good place to where a young guy like that can really benefit.
When Cordelius Young went down, Kai Burnett got in the playing group a little bit. I think they ran that counter right at him, and he spilled it and set up a 3rd and 3.
Mm-hmm.
It was his time to come out there, and it looked to me like he did a pretty good job. How's he coming?
He's doing great, and again, I feel really good with the group that we got. We got a bunch of guys that can play good football. JT's obviously we like to be able to get a little bit more production out of that room, and that's one thing we came out of those first 4 games in terms of just identifying some things that we got to be able to. And it's not like it's little things that we can do better that's going to help them make more plays. When it presents itself, but JT and Q's taking the heavy lifting here. When one of those guys get down, I have no reservation to playing Kikai right now. He's doing a really good job for us. Obviously, we don't have enough snaps, but I have full confidence in Kikai to be able to get the job done if he's called, and he's done a great job. Obviously, waiting his turn, he's getting the practice reps. He's with us in terms of the game plan, guys. So I think he'll be ready when his time is called, and I thought he was ready when his time was called on Saturday night.
What are the biggest learning curves for the younger edge guys? Like him, the fella, they're all pretty young guys, but there are points where it seems like they flash. But what breeds consistency for an edge rusher?
Well, I think just being able to like experience, I think, is a big portion of that. And obviously, like I said, man, we can't get experience for everybody. So his experience playing and practicing until his time comes, I think those are good lessons when you get burned in a game, and then obviously how important that drill becomes during practice. And I think that's what happened to a lot of guys. I mean, you go through growing pains, like you can get coached up, you can get told what to do, and it means something. They try to get it done, but it means a little bit different when you get cut by it during a game. You know, when I'm supposed to get underneath the block and I don't, and I get kicked out, and all of a sudden that's a big play. All right, that's a touchdown play. Well, hey, that just burns as a competitor, and like the guys we have in the room, like those things, they know that drill, the next time we do it, it's utmost important to be able to get that done. And so, and then the speed of the game, right? Like how fast things happen, how fast they gotta be able to process things from when they get the huddle call to where, when the offense breaks the huddle, what kind of things I need to look at, right? Like information. Not every down is you can't play every down like it's the 1st and 10. Right? There's different situations. You got to be able to learn the game, football IQ, all those things that come into play when before the ball snaps. So there's a lot that goes on, and I think as you get more experience, the more time you spend in the room like ours with that do got a lot of experience so far. Like, hey, those are the things that they can feed off of those guys or pick up from other guys.
What are some points of emphasis for your room specific, for that or Nebraska specific this week that you're coaching them up on?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about guys. I mean, we took a deep dive. I mean, Coach Smith and obviously the staff. I mean, coming out of that bye week, having a plan to be able to really take a deep dive in the first 4 games that we played so far this season. And just for my individual room, right, there was some missed assignments, and a couple of those missed assignments led to an explosive play. And it wasn't necessarily that they didn't know what to get done, is they didn't get either a communication or they didn't see a formation, like those things that we gotta be better at, right, in terms of coming out of the 4 games. Like I said, it wasn't a lot. It was 8, I know for us, I wanna say it was 8 in the first 4 games, which is 2 a game. Well, hey, there's 2 opportunities for a team to score a touchdown when you make a mistake. We talked about, obviously our tackling. Like, there's a couple things that I felt like watching those things, there was enough plays that could have been made on their sideline of scrimmage that had we chosen the right tackle technique at that moment in time, the ball would have been down as opposed to a 10-yard gain or a 6-yard gain. All right, I think those things gotta be able to happen. And then just the details in terms of our technique, in terms of taking on blocks or where we fit on a block. Guys are fitting where they're supposed to be, but that's the difference. We're not necessarily fitting. We gotta expect you to fit where you're supposed to fit, and then put yourself in a position to get off a block and make a play, not just necessarily be where you're supposed to be. At the end of the day, this game is called football. We gotta get to the football, and our technique's gotta help us win it. And so there was enough of those things on tape that we try to emphasize, and there was different techniques here and there, but that we gotta be able to come out of bye week, that the guys did a great job acknowledging, watching film, putting it together, and then obviously coming out in the bye week practice, and then this week, I mean, the guys really taking into it, and so I'm been excited about this group. I think this group is only starting to be able to show what they can do. There's still a lot to get done. I mean, after 4 games, I'm even more encouraged about what this room can do.
What does Nebraska do well that pop jumps out?
Excuse me?
What does Nebraska do well?
Well, one thing they do, I think they got some good players. I think the quarterback's a really good player. I think the running back's a good player. They got an experienced O-line. And so one of the things they do is things that we've got to get better at, is that we got to keep them out of those third and management situations. We got to get them in third and longer situations. They run the ball well. They got good balance with their offense. And so I think the quarterback can beat you. So we got to do a great job in playing tight coverage in the secondary, and at the same time for us here, winning a one-on-one. That's the emphasis this week here. We got to be able to win a one-on-one, either in a pass rush or run block, or a receiver a DB on the receiver, a linebacker on underneath route. So we got to be able to. They do a great job of taking what you give them, and they put them in situations where it's really manageable that favors them.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.